But can you check where we recording? Recording in the cloud or where we recording it? Yeah.
by the three followed by the 3PL, which will be the third party logistics partner and the wholesaler. So primarily the wholesaler will send out a demand plan uh, to the supplier, and they would again send out the corresponding products to the third party logistics partner, right? So here is where uh, the supplier would share the corresponding ASN. ASN is nothing but the advanced shipment notification, where this file or this corresponding data it will have regarding the models which were shipped, the number of units or the serial numbers which were shipped to the third party logistics partner. Followed by which the wholesaler would raise the corresponding purchase order for that consignment. So for what they would like to procure, and this is where the ownership changes hands from uh, the supplier, I mean, from the supplier to the wholesaler, right? So all this while, again, when the customers come in and put the orders in place, we get uh, the 3PL will again ship them out. And as the shipment occurs, at the end of the day, the reconciliation would happen. So all this happens on a day basis, and there is no real-time update which either goes to the supplier, not to the wholesaler. So this is where blockchain comes in as a single source of truth, and we would have a transaction for each and every item which was shipped, or the status of each and every item, or the corresponding ownership on a unit level of each and every item, right? So can you go to the next slide, please?
Yeah. Uh, in a nutshell, right, you have three parties here. One being the supplier, the other guy, the 3PL, who's maintaining logistic for the wholesaler, and the last is the wholesaler, who buys inventories from supplier. So all these three parties are isolated, and it's a traditional use case for us to choose blockchain. When you have uh, disconnected system, it's straightforward that you utilize blockchain uh, for the sake of reconciliation. That's in a nutshell. This is the problem that we are trying to solve. Now this will give more insight about how traditional system versus blockchain looks. Go ahead, Giri.
Yeah, so primarily, like I said, there is no single source of truth, right? So each and every day, the 3PL would send out the corresponding what is the inventory status of the products they have at their warehouse. So this blockchain would help us out in having a single source of truth where everyone sees the transactions happening, and what was shipped, uh, what is still there in the warehouse, and what is the ownership on the supplier, and what is the ownership of the 3P of the wholesaler, right? So this would give us real-time updates as shipments are going out, whereas in the traditional sense, we would not have any real-time updates. Being for fragmented data, like I said, there'll be data sending shared across from 3PL uh, to the supplier, or from the wholesaler to the 3PL. So all this happens without a centralized single source of truth. So that's where we get the problem of fragmented data coming into picture, which blockchain would solve. So as this happens in real time, we know what is the stock present in hand for us. So this would help us in not there being any overstock or having stockouts, and also on a very basic level, also understand how we could plan in the future, and what demand plan will be going out to the corresponding supplier in the future. So this this helps us getting a complete full data visibility across all the supply chain partners.
Thanks, Giri. Uh, Praveen, you want to talk about the interoperability aspects, please?
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of echo, Praveen.
Yeah, sure. Uh, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Giri, for speaking through the supply chain overview on the variances between the traditional and the blockchain approaches. Before I start the advantages of blockchain in supply chain, right, I want all to know what Verizon company is. So Verizon is basically a telecommunications company in USA. We are a $135 billion company, and we have a customer base of 145 million wireless retail customers. So this is just the on the wireless part of it. We also do businesses on the fiber optics as well. And we have every year there will be additions of at least 500,000 customers to our customer base. So what Verizon does is, apart from the telecommunications, we also we just don't give the telecommunication services. Along with the telecommunications, we also give the devices along with them. Like unlike in India, where we earlier there was a there was a marketing from Airtel saying they will give iPhone along with the Airtel connection, right? In USA, it is pretty common that they give a connection along with a device. So that's a very common in USA. So this solution that we are talking about right now, the blockchain, we have implemented the devices that Verizon is dealing with the equipment manufacturers. Okay, Verizon partners with several equipment manufacturers like uh, Apple, Google, Samsung. There are so many partners that we deal with. So this solution talks about the equipment manufacturers, the Verizon, the distribution centers that we have, and the third party logistics. So this is the solution primarily. And coming to what is blockchain doing in supply chain here, it facilitates the interoperability for the business in the form of common business model. So what I mean to say is, it helps in streamlining the consolidated operational processes. So there are so many broken processes. Okay, as I said, Verizon works with so many partners. Each partner is having their own business rules, their own policies, their own processes. So at the end of the day, what is happening, each have their own dashboard which says like I have given so many devices. Verizon says these are the devices that we have. So instead of that, what we are coming up with is a common understanding of the policies and processes via smart contract. That's what we are doing as part of the business. And as part of the information, as I said again, earlier in the traditional approaches, it is all fragmented. Each partner having their own dashboard, having their own reports. But with blockchain, what we are doing is every single partner on the blockchain, they will have one view of the data. So be it on the inventory that Verizon is owning, be it the inventory that partner is owning, or be it the um, you know um, the long-standing devices that we have in the blockchain, in the distribution centers of Verizon. So this is what we are solving here. And coming to the technology part of it, it will indirectly work with each other based on the event publisher and subscriber. So as I said, there are so many partners on the network. A few partners, they will publish certain data and they will subscribe certain data. So they will give some data and they will take some data out of it. So that's what blockchain is going to help in the supply chain blockchain part. Can you go to the next slide, Rangesh?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll talk on the advantage pain points before I talk on the advantages. As I said earlier, traditional approach is fragmented. Uh, Rangesh, move back. Yeah, thanks. So traditional solution is fragmented in the sense, as I said, each partner having their own servers, their own dashboards, their own reports. Okay, because of which there are so many challenges. And this is a pairwise integration that we have with traditional approach. What I mean by pairwise, Verizon Verizon and the equipment manufacturer will have certain data sharing. The third party logistics company will have a data sharing with Verizon and back and forth. And third party logistics having a different connection with the partner. So, so many connections are there, instead of that, in order to overcome that, we are using this blockchain solution where all the partners will onboard the data onto blockchain, and we maintain the transparency and with consensus. Okay, because the business rules are same. Okay, that is one advantage that we have. And again, as I said, there is data silos. uh, each partner having their own servers, they don't share what they have, so that is data is siloed. And manual reconciliation. So in the traditional approach, it was like they were having their own report. So I used to share, Verizon used to share their report with equipment manufacturer. They will reconcile with their data, and it never used to match. It never used to match. That is one very big challenge that we had. And the traditional approach is very expensive and very complex. Manual, it is done manually. And the advantages that we see, it is automated process, it is simplified process. I'll not say it is a inexpensive thing. It is a little expensive, but the business teams can spend their time, their valuable time, in something else rather than reconciling the data what we have. Okay. Um, so again, the single source of reference, as I said, all the partners, since Verizon, the scale that I said just now, it's so huge that we have so many partners that instead of having multiple source of data, with single source of reference that we have right now, we are able to yield very good results. And lastly, I want to talk one thing. Um, Data is consistent. So because we have common business rules, everybody is approving and implementing the business rules. So everybody is agreeing on what we are showing in the blockchain. Okay, those are the advantage, and very important advantage that we have with this blockchain solution in supply chain. From the time a device enters Verizon distribution center to the time it reaches the customer, every step is being recorded in the blockchain. So the chances of missing a device in the Verizon distribution centers is very, very less. So maybe the third party logistics company, they might lose a device in the, so Verizon has a huge distribution centers. Okay. So the logistics partner, they might lose the device, but eventually with blockchain solution, we will be able to trace each and every single device on the blockchain network. Okay, so these are the some of the advantages, and monetary wise, huge benefits with the solution implementation. I can't reveal the numbers, but huge numbers. Like for each distribution center, Verizon has in USA, there are huge benefits with this blockchain solution. So that's pretty much from my end, Rangesh.
Thanks, Praveen. Right. So with that said, right, this is the high-level component architecture. For the sake of legal stuff, we have abstracted few things, but this is how our complex system looks like. So you have a blockchain network, and we construct different channels based on participants that we onboard. You have the telecom operator, that is we, Verizon, and then the events that you see, right, is what we are interested from the third parties. So when I say ASN, so whenever supplier, so presume like supplier publishes the ASN, we got to know. So presume like we Verizon orders a device of 10,000, supplier will notify us with an ASN, that is advance shipment notification, claiming I am going to send you 10,000 devices on XYZ date, and that's all bounded in ASN. And then it reaches directly through the ledger via smart contract. Of course, we have rules and other stuffs that you see here, right? and we observe that through the event listener, and then do whatever logic that we are supposed to apply, and then construct POs like purchase order. So Verizon purchases all those devices, and then taps on to the third party or the 3PL folks, um, to manage the inventory that the suppliers sent. And of course, each of them, be it the seller or the operator or the 3PL, have different events associated with them to ship a device, or to construct a device and hand it over to the end users. So if there are supply chain folks on the call, they should obviously know about all these events. So this is a generic term, and folks who are interested can definitely Google it out, like what are all the events associated with this. In a nutshell, right? At a high level, what we do is, uh, we construct channels as and when we onboard with different 3PLs or the suppliers, and enable the network, and our smart contract sitting in the middle does the necessary validations, and um providing the end users with real time reconciliation, which was not there earlier. So the advantages that you get out of this particular implementation is, number one, you have end-to-end visibility of where the device is, you know right from shipment until it goes to the hands of the consumer. So you could track that entire visibility. That is what this solution is providing us. Number two, when it comes to invoicing, so presume 3PL, as there are devices for which Verizon need not pay, then you get hold of it. So it's kind of improves the cash flow as well. Earlier we were paying it and then getting a refund, which is not the case now. So it has taken us to a different league as well. So that is the second advantage that we get out of it. With that said, right, I don't want to too much emphasize on how we have built the solution as it is custom, and they could do it on organization policies. So in a nutshell, uh, you have a blockchain network. The idea is that we telecom operator would construct channel and deploy a smart contract based on the parties that we used to join. So that is all about the component architecture. I think we have quite a lot of time for Q&A. I'll open it up for Q&A, please.
Dear participants, you can unmute yourselves and you can ask the question, please. And thank you for the very elaborated and clear presentation. It was very good.
Thanks.
Hi, hello. I have a question.
Yes, please.
So besides being able to track the device on the blockchain, can you also track the health of the device, different parts to see if one fails? Or is it just tracking?
It's just tracking. The scope that we do with this use case is just a tracking, but even the health could be tracked, but that's not the scope of stuff that we did with this implementation.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we have think we have 40 participants, and if we have did a good job, we should get more questions. If not, either we should have done it very well or they should not have understood.
Hey, hi, great presentation. I was interested in knowing what the tech stack looks like.
Okay. Yeah. So, uh, for the blockchain aspect, right? I think you could find it on AWS as well. So Verizon is a customer of AWS. So we are using AWS managed services for the blockchain implementation. So they do most of the job. And for the Clean code aspects, it is Golang. And of course, for all the peripheral components that is around supporting this network, right? It's all with Java, Kubernetes, and Prometheus for monitoring. So that is all we do. Did that answer your question?
Got it. Thank you.
All right.
Participants, the forum is open. You can ask your questions.
Okay. I think I'll give it back to you, honestly, if there are no questions.
Thank you, Rangesh and team. It was really a very good presentation, and we appreciate you a lot because you accepted our invite, and you have done a great job. Like, and we wish you to uh, come up and give more presentations like this in near future also. And there is an open question for everyone. If anyone is interested or working on a blockchain related projects, so like with Hyperledger, you can reach out to us if you want to present it to the forum. Like, so it is an open request.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think Marty has asked some question like, yes, it is deployed in production. The one that we have presented is not a POC, it's deployed in production. And how many nodes do we have? So whereas Verizon, we hosted 4 nodes and it's all managed by AMB or the AWS. And somebody else asked like, what is the opportunity realized till now from productionization? Um, uh, so of course, for legal aspect, we cannot give you the exact numbers, but definitely we have reaped out benefit, and there's definitely improvements in numbers or dollars, and that's why we have necessary fundings to go through this use case. Over to you, Anisha. I think I just saw a couple of questions there. Sorry to interrupt you.
No. Like we are still. I'm seeing if anyone else is typing or asking any questions. Fine. If there is no more questions, then we can wind off the presentation session.
Thanks. Thank you.
And the minutes of meeting will be available in the Hyperledger India Chapter page. You can go there and check it out, and we will make whatever possibilities to post the recordings in the YouTube also, and that too will be updated in the minutes of meeting, like meeting notes. And I have, like, there are a number of new attendees for Hyperledger India Chapter meeting. So I have given your names there in case if I have left someone, or like if you have the LFID, please rename it with the LFID. That once that it is already published, so you can go there and you can check it out. So if there is nothing else, like, we can wind off today's meeting. Thank you everyone.
Thank you.